welcome to another installment of SK Lifestyle. Before we get started on this review, please hit the subscribe button down below and make sure you like, share, and comment on this video as well. So with that said, the Jetson Ion scooter. I have a few electric scooters, honestly, but this one I just came into, just by happenstance. Like, I was at Kohl's, I had a bunch of Kohl's cash, I was going to get a bunch of random crap, and then I saw one of these, one last one in the box, and it was half off. I guess they were getting rid of their lineup as they go into fall, maybe they're discontinuing carrying these, I don't know. But I basically walked out of there paying 10 bucks after using all the Kohl's cash I had. So that's the story behind me getting this one. Now, the box was slightly opened, although everything looked brand new, as it still does. There was no dirt on the tires. It didn't look like it was used at all. But what I've noticed from this, at least particular model, is that the connection for the cell phone app doesn't really work that well at all. It kind of connected, but not really. And also, you're supposed to be able to turn on and off the lights. So now you can see the LED bar up there, which is really cool. They also have this like pulsating blue light in the front. And as well, you can see here, we got the red lights in the back, which is nice. So it's not just reflectors. You actually have bright LEDs. The only problem is, even without the app on my phone, you're supposed to double tap the power button, and it's really hard to do. Now, of course, I have it on now, but if you watched me try to do it, it took about almost 2 minutes to get it to work. So it's very clumsy, but the power indicator works fine, the miles per hour works fine, and honestly, from an electric scooter perspective, none of my other scooters have a cell phone app for it. So maybe the software will get better. Maybe I can kind of reinstall the app, maybe that'll work. Shut this down a few times and try to reconnect. I don't know. But those are, to me, just all added features. The fact that it has a miles per hour right on there is really cool to me. That thing works. All right. So that was some of the bad. You know what I mean? So I think that's the reason why somebody probably got it home, maybe tried to connect it for their kid or something, saw that they couldn't do it, and just returned it. Now, one of the great features from the app is supposed to be that you can actually lock the scooter. So you can make it so that even if somebody's pressing the power button or something, nothing will turn on unless you have the application. So that's one feature I wish I could really use with the app. But again, maybe I will in time, maybe I won't. Some of the other features that this thing has is an electric brake. And this thing works really good, even if you're not using throttle. So say you're just going downhill, you're not using throttle at all, but you're still going, 10, 12 miles an hour, you can still hit the electric brake, and man, it has some bite. It's like the ceramic, what do you call it? It's like the ceramic brakes of friggin' electric scooters. Like, it just comes down hard. But it works really well, and it also has this back one. So even if the electric brake doesn't work, you can still stop it, because obviously it doesn't have a traditional pull brake, like lever brake, cable brake, I should say. I didn't expect much from this as far as quality. Like, it was just some little electric scooter from Kohl's. I mean, I know they sell these other places now that I've looked at them. But I thought it was going to be real rickety, and honestly, this is it's very friggin' solid. Like, it has some really good, like, steel, probably aluminum pieces. The throttle and the electric brake, that's all just just standard plastic. It's not even like rubberized plastic, but I think it'll hold up good enough. The handlebars themselves are really long, which I like. A lot of them would probably only be to like right here. So it's definitely big enough for a full adult hand to grab on it. And as well, it holds my weight fine. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the weight capacity for this is almost 270 pounds, which I kind of believe it, because I don't think the tires have any air in them. They're just like solid rubber, but they are pretty nice. They're about 8 inches in diameter, 7 to 8 inches, and they feel really good. They have some good tread on it. I've ridden this on dry pavement. I've ridden it on semi-wet pavement, and it grips pretty well. Do I wish the deck could be a little wider? Maybe just a teeny bit, but there's also no seat, so it's not like you're going to be sitting down and have both feet right in front of you. So if you want to, you can still kind of half and half it with your feet, and it is very long enough, I should say, that you can definitely have a full-grown foot in the front and the back. You don't even have to utilize your foot up here, but you can if you want to. And of course, this thing is able to just lower right down as well. So if you see this, and then the handlebars can even come in too. So, I mean, this thing is pretty impressive, and honestly, for as solid as it is, it probably weighs almost about 35, 40-ish pounds. So, go ahead and bring that back up. You see that? That's solid. I know it picked it up on the camera, that click. This is all solid steel right here. So the parts that needed good construction and to be able to hold up, they did a really good job. So I'm pretty impressed with this thing. Now I can show you the bottom of this thing, and actually let me fold it up just so I can do that. So here's the bottom of the scooter. And oh, one other thing I forgot. These little wheels in the front. So I'm pretty sure these are for like if you're hopping a curb or something, rather than it getting stuck right on the deck before it can get to the back wheel. Obviously the motor's right built into the back wheel. You can see that it's all covered up, and that's because the motor's inside. And then the whole platform is the battery itself. I will say this thing charges up pretty quick. I think within about 2 hours you're good to go, or at least you probably have about 80% of charge. And it lasts a while too. It'll definitely, I think, get the hour of runtime. I think if you're on complete flat surfaces, there's a chance you might be able to pull 15 miles out of this thing instead of just the 10. So that is pretty much it. You can see here there's a little charge port. I will say that's one other fault that I will give it. This charge port, I mean, it's very tight. You can see it's kind of stuck in there. It's going to hold. It definitely feels like it'll keep the water out. But I think there could be like maybe a cover that goes over this so that this rubber piece isn't so exposed. Now, would I have paid $250 for it? Probably not, just because I have so many electric scooters, and you know, for $250 I'm probably getting up to the point where I'd probably want to get like maybe a used like 1,000-watt brushless motor electric scooter or something, put the money towards that. But at $120 brand new in the box, even if the app isn't working that well, I'm pretty impressed. But honestly, the fact that it really can go 15 miles per hour, and I'm pretty sure it can do about 10 miles of range, and I will be doing a full range test on this soon, so stay tuned for that video as well. This thing is pretty impressive though. So even if you guys did go out there and spend $200 on this thing, $250, I think you're definitely at least going to get your money's worth. Hopefully your brand new one works with the app. I think that's definitely a selling point. If the app works flawlessly on one that you have, then I think $250 is kind of worth it. And then especially a lot of people in cities are riding electric scooters these days. Something like this, you can easily fold up, take with you on the subway, unfold it, take off. In 10 miles of range at 15 miles an hour, I mean, you could zip all over the city and get right where you need to go. And you got the light bars, so you know what I mean? There's lots of taxis around or something like that. You have LEDs in the back that are really bright. You have this huge light bar. You have the bright LEDs in the front. I mean, I think this thing is a really good buy. The motor sounds really good. It's not super loud, but it has a nice kind of almost Jetson kind of sound to it. I kind of like it. And yeah, so mine also, I'm not sure if when they returned it, they didn't return it with it, but it's on, at least on the box, it shows a kickstand. I don't feel any grooves for where the kickstand should be. I don't know if it just clips right on or what, it like bolts on, but mine didn't have one. So I don't have a kickstand for it. I can probably get some kind of aftermarket thing for it. We'll see. But I'm definitely impressed. We do a lot of camping and stuff, like going to a campground or something like this is so key. You know what I mean? A lot of campgrounds are huge, and if you can zip over to the front or wherever you're going to go or down by the river, and it only takes you, you know, a minute or two rather than having to walk for, you know, 6, 7, 8 minutes, that's cool. So I'm pretty impressed. I will definitely run the test drive with this thing. I'll do a braking test as well. Speed test, you can see how fast it gets up to speed, all that sort of stuff. And again, I will be doing the range test soon, so stay tuned for that. That pretty much covers it. There's not too much else to say. So in the age of electric scooters, how does this Jetson stack up? Well, I think styling just about says it. Looks just as good, if not better, than the rest of these. And quality feels pretty good too. But the real thing is, how does it ride? So, let's go ride it. Alright, this is going to be the brake test. I'm going to be going full speed, come right up towards the camera and hit the electric brake. Let's see how great it works. 14, stop. Haha, that's with the electric brake right there. Now I'm going to try it without the brake and just let it slow down on its own. 14. Yeah, not too good. I ended up about 20 feet back from the camera. Now I'm going to try the foot brake once I hit 14 miles per hour. Let's see how well that works. 14. Oh. I would say the foot brake works just as good as the electric brake. The electric brake has way more bite right at the beginning though. And just using the engine braking to slow yourself down, it'll work, but probably only 50% as good as actually using a brake. So, pretty interesting, right? Alright, this is going to be a true hill test. This elevation is about a 4-foot rise over 25 feet, so it's pretty steep. Especially for an electric scooter. Now this one again needs momentum before the engine starts going, so it's going to be tough going because there's a little bit of lip at the front, but we're going to test it out, so let's see. Yeah. So that's the verdict right there. Last time I got it to go up just a little bit better, but it's really slow going, maybe 1 or 2 miles per hour, just enough to stay upright, and it barely just made it to the top. But honestly, for this little thing, I'm even surprised it did it, especially because it needs momentum. So because there's such a big lip and I don't want to just crush the front of the electric scooter into the concrete right there, I had to kind of stop, hop over it, and then give it a kick to get going. So that's what it's like.